Most people don't realize this until much later in life. The first hour after you wake up quietly decides the quality and direction of your entire life. That little battle between you and the snooze button isn't small. It's a daily vote for who's really in charge, your goals or your comfort. After years of watching successful and struggling people up close, I can tell you the difference rarely shows up in one huge decision. It shows up in how they start their morning. Most people wake up late, hit snooze, grab their phone, scroll the news, rush through a shower, grab whatever food is closest, and walk out the door already behind. That isn't a routine, it's a daily emergency. I used to live that way, waking at the last minute, racing through the morning, and wondering why my money, health, and relationships all looked chaotic. Then a mentor asked me what time I woke up. When I told him, he said, "That explains a lot," and taught me this. The morning is when you take command of your day. That's when your willpower is strongest, your mind clearest, your energy highest. Don't give your best hours to sleep or someone else's agenda. Give them to becoming the kind of person who can handle anything. So I started waking up just 1 hour earlier. No magic tricks. I used that hour to read something that stretched my thinking, review my goals, reflect on who I wanted to become, and plan the day with intention instead of reacting to whatever showed up. Within 90 days, my income shifted. Within 6 months, my life did. Not because mornings are mystical, but because I stopped living on autopilot and started shaping who I was becoming one morning at a time. Think about it. Once you walk out the door, everyone else owns your time. Your boss, clients, family, traffic, obligations. That first hour is the only time that truly belongs to you. And what you do with what's yours determines what you'll be trusted with later. Self-discipline is the bridge between goals and results, and it begins with that alarm clock. Getting up when you said you would, doing what you planned instead of what's comfortable, that's where self-respect is born. Show me someone who can't get out of bed, and I'll show you someone struggling in several areas. Show me someone who gets up with purpose, and I'll show you someone quietly building the life they want. Your morning routine is a mirror of your philosophy. Successful people start the day as students, asking, "What can I learn? How can I grow?" Unsuccessful people start as victims, complaining about waking up, work, traffic, the weather. Same morning, two completely different questions, two completely different destinations. The truth is, success doesn't belong to the most talented, connected, or intelligent. It belongs to the people who do daily what others only do occasionally. And that daily discipline shows up first in the morning. Just imagine what happens if you dedicate one focused hour each morning to reading, learning, planning, and preparing your mind while others are hitting snooze. That's 7 hours a week, about 30 hours a month, 365 hours a year. Give your future self 365 hours of personal development, and you simply cannot remain the same person. When you become different, your opportunities, decisions, and outcomes change with you. The morning is the command center of your emotional state. Start rushed and reactive, and you carry stress into your work, relationships, and choices. Start calm, clear, and intentional, and that becomes your operating system. The real power of the first 60 minutes isn't in how much you get done, but in who you become. More focused, more grounded, more prepared. Production matters, but becoming comes first. You can't consistently produce more until you are more. Most people know they need a better morning routine. They just don't know where to begin. So don't try to flip your entire life overnight. Start small. Wake up 30 minutes earlier tomorrow and use that time on purpose. Read 10 pages of a solid book. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Review your goals. Stretch, pray, journal, meditate, or simply sit and think. The what matters less than the intention. You're sending yourself a message. I matter enough to invest in myself first. Something subtle but powerful will happen. Those 30 minutes will begin to change how you feel about yourself. When you actually do what you said you would do, you build self-trust. When you put your growth before everyone else's demands, you build self-respect. When you start the day with direction instead of panic, you build confidence. Those invisible deposits, trust, respect, confidence, become the foundation of every visible win you create. The real morning advantage isn't about becoming superhuman. It's about refusing to live on autopilot. It's understanding that how you greet the day determines how the day greets you. You're either designing your life or being designed by your habits and circumstances, and that fight is won or lost before 9 a.m. So ask yourself honestly, what is your current morning saying about who you are and who you're becoming? Is it broadcasting, I'm serious about my life, or I'll get to my dreams when it's convenient? The beautiful part is you're not stuck with yesterday's chapter. Your morning routine is writing your story one day at a time, and you get a fresh page tomorrow. You can choose differently. You can start thinking less about what you have to do today and more about who you want to be today. There's a simple law of life you need to burn into your mind. To have more, you must become more. Not just work more, become more. More disciplined, more focused, more valuable, more intentional. I learned this the hard way. In my 20s, I was broke, exhausted, and frustrated, working long hours but going nowhere. Then a wealthy man told me, I didn't chase money. I became the kind of person who creates value, solves problems, and serves at a high level. The money followed that. He was investing thousands in books, seminars, and courses. My investments were lottery tickets and excuses. He used his mornings to study philosophy and success. I used mine to sleep in and watch TV. We both got the results our mornings were designed for. That day I made a decision. School was over, but learning wasn't. I became a student of success, mindset, and human potential, and I scheduled that study first thing in the morning, every single day. That's where real personal development happens, not at a hype-filled weekend you forget by Monday, but in quiet early hours, alone with a book, a notebook, and your own thoughts. Formal education can help you make a living. Self-education, done consistently, can help you build a life. School trains you to work for money. Self-education teaches you how to make money work for you. School shows you how to be employed. Self-education shows you how to be valuable. And the morning is where you give yourself that education. By reading things that challenge you, listening to ideas that expand you, and studying people who've already achieved what you want. You don't ask, why are they lucky? You ask, what do they know and practice that I don't yet? Here's a freeing truth. You can't control the seasons of life, but you can control how prepared you are for them. The economy will swing. People will disappoint you. Markets will rise and fall. You can't stop any of that. but you can become stronger, wiser, calmer, more capable. Change yourself, and you change your experience of everything else. That's why successful people guard their mornings so fiercely. While most are feeding their minds with fear, noise, and comparison, they're feeding theirs with clarity, goals, and growth. Every morning I review my goals, not once a year, every day. It keeps my why in front of me. It shows me the gap between who I am and who I want to be, and that gap becomes my teacher. It tells me what I need to work on, what to learn, what to refine. Most people write goals once and then forget them. When you reconnect with them daily, your mind starts quietly working on them even when you're not. You notice doors you used to walk past. You make different choices because you're slowly becoming the person those goals require. Morning development isn't only about what you add to your mind, it's also about what you keep out. If the first thing you do is scroll news and social media, you're letting crisis, comparison, and noise hijack your state before you've even woken up fully. You're giving permission to outside forces to decide how you'll feel. But if you protect that first hour like it's sacred, because it is, you're doing what very few people ever do, taking ownership of your mental state. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was, stand guard at the door of your mind. You can't block everything all day long, but you absolutely can decide what gets in first. And what gets in first shapes how you interpret everything after. Start your morning with inspiration, and you see the day through that lens. Start with gratitude, and events hit you differently. Start with your vision, and decisions line up with your future instead of your fears. Morning input becomes daily output. Personal development isn't something you squeeze in if you have time. You make time for it, and the morning is when that time is most powerful because you are never standing still. You are either getting better or getting worse. And the direction is set when you open your eyes and decide whether you'll invest in yourself or coast on autopilot. The most successful people I've met all share one habit. They are obsessive students. Their homes are filled with books. They spend more on learning after school than they ever spent during school. They read, listen, attend, and study like their future depends on it, because it does. And most of that happens before the world starts knocking. So ask yourself, not what am I doing, but what am I becoming? Your actions are just the echo of your identity, and your identity is being shaped by what you feed your mind, especially in those early quiet minutes. Feed it wisdom and you grow wise. Feed it junk and you stay stuck. The morning isn't just when your body wakes up. It's when your potential wakes up, if you let it. Here's another crucial truth. Your mind is either working for you or against you, and that direction is chosen in the first few moments after waking. Most people lose that moment by grabbing their phone, drowning in information they can't control, and handing their emotional steering wheel to strangers and headlines. That's not living, that's reacting. By noon, they feel like a pinball bouncing off problems, and by night, they're exhausted without feeling accomplished. A mentor taught me to switch the question. Most people wake up thinking, what do I have to get through today? He told me to ask, what can I give today? What value can I create? Whose life can I improve? That shift from what do I get to what do I give moves you from scarcity to abundance. And your mind always follows the trail of your dominant questions. Gratitude works the same way. If you wake up replaying problems, they grow in your mind. If you spend 5 minutes acknowledging what's good and working, your brain starts searching for more of it. You're not tricking yourself. It's simply how focus works. Whatever you stare at expands. For things to change, you must change. Not the weather, not your boss, not the economy, you. And the easiest time to shape your thinking is early, before the world crowds in. I use my mornings to think about who I'm becoming. More disciplined, more patient, more generous, more focused. When you aim at becoming better, the doing follows naturally. The right actions are born from the right identity. Standing guard at the door of your mind means you don't let every random idea, fear, or opinion just walk in. You choose thoughts that empower instead of weaken, input that inspires instead of drains. Most people leave their mental door wide open and wonder why they feel overwhelmed by 9 a.m. When you carefully curate what gets into your mind early, you're not just protecting that hour. You're protecting your entire day, your energy, your focus, your creativity, your attitude. Practically, it might look like this. Before reading the news, read something that strengthens you. Before checking what everyone else says, check in with your own values and priorities. Before mentally listing your problems, list your possibilities. Before obsessing over what's wrong with the world, remember what's already right in your life. It's a practice, not perfection, but it works. Your mind is a garden, morning is planting time. Whatever seeds you plant, worry, doubt, gratitude, purpose, will grow as the day goes on. The quality of your morning thoughts shapes the quality of your decisions. Think small, and you'll make small moves. Think only about surviving, and you'll make fearful short-term choices. Think about growth and abundance, and you'll act with courage and creativity. If your first thoughts are dread and stress, that becomes your operating system. If your first thoughts are purpose and possibility, that becomes your base code. If you don't like the results in your life, start by upgrading that software each morning. The power isn't in never having negative thoughts. It's in choosing intentional ones. Every morning you decide, will I direct my mind or will the world direct it for me? Will I create my mental state or inherit it from circumstances and notifications? Will I be the author of my thoughts or a victim of them? That choice made before sunrise is the quiet separator between average and extraordinary. Successful people win the mental game early and life follows. But remember, a perfect morning routine without action is just a feel-good ritual. If early reading, planning, and energizing never turn into decisions and behavior, you've built a comfort circle, not a growth system. I once watched two people leave the same seminar equally fired up. One changed one small thing. He woke 30 minutes earlier and read 20 minutes each morning. 6 months later, he'd finished 10 books, thought differently, earned more, and deepened his relationships. The other went back to old patterns in a few days, and nothing changed. You don't need to fix 1,000 things. You need a small number of high-leverage habits you do every day. And locking them into your morning gives them the best chance to happen before life gets noisy. Each morning, I choose the 3 most important tasks of the day and do them before noon. Not 10, not 20, 3. Mornings are when my energy and willpower are highest. If I wait, I give myself more chances to back out. When those three are done, everything else feels like a bonus. Success is rarely about perfection. It's about direction and consistency. If you're walking north every morning, even slowly, you'll end up in a completely different place than someone heading south at full speed. The first hour decides your heading, so here's the challenge. Give yourself 30 days of intentional mornings. Wake up earlier. Feed your mind something strong. Review your goals. Plan your day. Choose your thoughts on purpose. Take action on what matters most before the world interrupts. Just 30 days. If you take it seriously, you will not recognize your confidence, clarity, or momentum at the end. Don't wish life were easier. Wish you were better. And you become better the same way you build anything else that lasts. One morning at a time, one choice at a time, one disciplined action at a time. The compound effect of those quiet, consistent morning decisions will do more for your future than almost anything else. But it starts with a decision. My mornings matter more than my comfort, because they do.